Chad Evans back in studio with my friend Just Dena.
Hello, Chad.
Our favorite interior designer is back at it again
Thank
today.
you.
A lot of fun. We learned a lot on first episode. We learned a lot about you, why you got into the industry, how you can help these new clients out and current clients as well. What this episode is about is the process. Okay, specifically for a new client. Okay, so one, how can they find you? What's the best way to reach out to you?
Well, either by calling me on my phone or messaging me through Messenger on Facebook is most people do that, but also word of mouth. Word of mouth probably is my number one way I get my clients. Over the years, it's the referral.
Yeah.
Somebody tells somebody and somebody tells somebody else and somebody tells somebody else. And that's how I get most of my clients, their referral from a friend.
So they're going to actively pursue you for, I would imagine, a consultation?
Yes.
So a first meetup is a
basically once you've contacted me, we set up a time that works for both of us. And typically a house call is somewhere between an hour to 2 hours. I come in your home or your business, whatever area it is, and we chat. The first thing I do is I ask for the 10-penny tour, I call. I don't really care what your project is at that particular time. I want to see how you live. And everybody will go to me, oh my God, I didn't clean up. I go, that's okay. You live here. You're not doing anything special for me. I want to see how you live. I want to see what's going on. And as we're walking through the home, I have several questions. Well, first of all, before we start the tour, I ask 3 questions: what their first, second, and third priority are. And I put that down, typically on a piece of paper or on my iPad. Then we walk through the house and I start asking questions. And usually the first thing I ask is, I'll say, Chad, what's your favorite color? And everyone goes, oh, I don't really have a favorite color. I go, you do. So what do you like to wear? And what is your favorite color, Chad?
I don't know, but I would say I like blues and I like grays.
Okay. And what's your least favorite color?
Yellow.
Okay. So that's where I start. And then the other partner in the relationship, I ask them the same 2 questions. Typically, it is not the same. So that's where it starts. And we go down the list. I ask how they live, how they use the house, what their likes and dislikes are, what patterns, patterns and styles. Like some people are adverse to polka dots. Some people don't like plaids. Some people don't like stripes. Those are important because I don't want to come back showing you something that you don't know. Or I don't, that I don't know. So that's why I ask all those questions. And I've found out over the years, people say to me, boy, we've had an interior designer here before and they've never asked these kind of questions. I go, and my reply is, it's your home. It's your money. I'm here to help you spend it wisely and not make costly mistakes. And then we sit down and chat a little bit more about the project, what they want to do. And sometimes there's multiple things. And back to my first set of questions. I basically tell them if they were Rockefeller or, depending on the generation, a Kardashian, if they had all the money in the world, what would be the first 3 things they would do in their home? And they would go down the list and tell me that. And that's what we started out with. And then we'll go through the home and I'll find that, they really would like to put a light fixture in the dining room, let's just say, or the kitchen, whatever. And it would be something very simple to finish a project. And one of the things that people like, we're all alike, we like to accomplish things and like things to be finished. But like most homeowners, projects get started in each and every room and no room. They move on to the next project and never finish that little detail in the room. And what I do is I keep them on task. I take that little small step, like the light fixture, in that room and get that done first because they check that off their list. That might have been number 3, but it becomes number 1. And sometimes the priority is, let's say, the dining room. And that tends to be, people like to decorate the dining room in their home. But it's also the least used room in the house. And I'll say, well, boy, maybe we should do your master bath first, which is also I think the most important room in the house, next to the kitchen. And we work it that way. And then by the time the conversation's over in the hour, our list has changed. And then we answer the 3 questions again. And then what I typically do is go back, I formulate a plan. I put samples together, and then I do another presentation usually within the week with ideas they have. And one of the things that I will tell you, if I came into you and your wife's home, I would say to you, please, Chad and Tara, be honest with me, because I'm going to be honest with you. If I tell you something or show you something you don't like, you have to tell me. My worst fear is that 6 months from now, I hear from someone else, well, she showed me something and I didn't like anything.
Oh.
And that hurts my feelings worse than anything else. I need to know you don't like something, because I'm not 100% right on all the time.
Right.
Everybody makes mistakes or they go down the wrong path. And I want to try to best match what you want and your needs and what's available.
Mm-hmm. You're there to provide solutions.
Correct.
Yeah. I bet that's your favorite part of the process.
Oh, it is.
Is meeting people for the first time and getting to know them and I'm sure because you've been doing this for quite some time. I'm sure you have a zillion stories about the first time.
And speaking of Just Dena, that's how this came about, the little story.
Yeah.
Years ago, probably, it was back in the 90s, I get in people's homes and I basically know where everything is in their home. I know it's in their cupboards, their basements, the attic, all sorts of places. And I get familiar with them. I get to be friends with the kids, the dogs, the cat, everybody, grandma, great grandma, the in-laws, the neighbors. They see me coming and going. And I went to this one particular home outside of Minersville, and young Anthony, who was 6 years old, I come to the door, and I'd been there quite frequently. And I come to the door and he was all excited. He opens up the door and he goes, "Oh, Mom, it's Just Dena." And I'm like, well, I felt right at home because I am that comfortable in their home and that familiar with things. And I run into people all the time. One of my other stories was great. I got a call one night from my clients who were in Myrtle Beach. And they called me concerning they had been into this was prior to pictures on the cell phone. Mm-hmm. They had the cell phone, but we couldn't take pictures. And they said they had found this switch plate and they were going to email me a picture of the switch plate cover. And it was a handmade one. And they wanted to know if it would go in their home. But you said, you're not going to believe this. We were here talking in this restaurant about this switch plate cover and saying, what would Dena think of this? Maybe we should call Dena. And he says, people popped over the booth from before and they said, you don't happen to be talking about Dena from Pennsylvania, Dena. And here, 2 clients, one from the Pottsville area and one from the Lewisburg area, were vacationing in Myrtle Beach at the same time and heard my name. So and I just thought that was so cool that they got to talk to each other, and then they end up having dinner again another night together.
That's fantastic. Now that's brand awareness. Now that's how it's done. That's got to make you feel good, Dena.
It does. Yeah. And I love what I do. Yeah. I love going to work every day.
Isn't that awesome? Isn't that the best feeling in the world?
It is the best feeling, and it's the best feeling to make someone happy in their homes.
Yeah, good for you. You have now, you talk to the family. You have a basic plan of attack?
Yes, I do a basic plan of attack of what I think they should do and what I think the process should be next. And because I've been doing this so long in the area, I also have a repertoire of local people that I use that I have a good rapport with. I trust them. One of the things that my clients will say to me is they call me back. It's amazing how people call other people and they never return phone calls. If I call my contractor or specialty person, they call them back with that. I feel using local people and local businesses. I grew up in a family-owned business. My parents had 2 grocery stores and a restaurant. So I've always been entrepreneurial from the beginning. But I also feel getting close to people in the area and using their services is so much better than using big box stores. Because they have a reputation, they have families, they care about the area, they care about where they live, just like I care about where I live and the people, and I always try to support them. And I feel the work is much better that way.
Sure. And they donate back to the community most of the time.
Correct.
You know, it's important to buy local. You know, in your opinion, what is the difference between local and these big box stores? Is it quality? Is it, you know, people are always looking for like the best deal on,
Correct.
let's say, a shower.
And the best deal
faucet.
is not always the best deal.
So explain that to us.
Okay, so I mean, I found out a long time ago from a local supplier of plumbing supplies. What you see is not always necessarily what you get. Yes, you can go to this local supply house, buy a plumbing fixture from a name brand, and then you can go to one of the big box stores and lo and behold, the same thing is there. Well, it's not the same thing. What I found out is, for instance, when you buy it from the supplier, typically the guts of the interior are brass, solid brass. At the big box stores, for the most part, they tend to be plastic. Looks the same on the outside, not the same on the inside. The same thing with lighting fixtures and products. You can go to a local lighting store and you see a name brand product, and you go to a big box store and that same product will be $100 less. Well, it's also what you don't see. It looks the same on the outside, but it's a different gauge of steel. Again, plastic versus metal on the insides of the fixtures. You're not always getting what you think you're getting. And if that's all you can afford, that is perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with that, but noted that you're not getting the same thing all the time. Sometimes you are, but most of the times you're not.
And that's part of your job too, in this process, to educate these people on this, because I would have never known that.
Most people don't. And it's that way with furniture and accessories. There's a particular online company that I know everybody's used from, and you order something and it looks fabulous on the picture, and then it comes and it's a third the size with that. And the same thing is true with home furnishings, accessories. Yes, things look the same, but are they the same on the inside? You have to check and do your homework on that. And I've done that. And I have no problem with working in people's budgets.
Sure.
But I also want your budget to be realistic of what you want that product to do. Because sometimes what you want that product to do is not the price point you need to be in if you are expecting more. You're not always going to get it.
Right. So you just encourage them to buy local. I mean, really.
Correct.
Because
some people stand in back of it and they'll repair it, and you have somebody to talk to because that person cares. They've got mouths to feed. They're supporting the local other businesses and community actions, and they're part of the community.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Dena. I'm the exact same way. So kudos to you. So when a decision is made to go ahead with an interior designer, are you rolling up your sleeves and throwing couches in there?
I am. I'm not throwing anything, but I am one of these most people get the concept from television that interior designers point and say, this is what you should do, blah, blah, blah. Not me. I help carry the furniture. I hang the pictures. I put up the window treatments. You don't want me to paint.
No,
that's not my fault. I will pick the color. I pick great colors, but not paint. Those are things I'm not good at. But I will put you in contact with the people that can paint. I have people who paint, reupholster, do electrical work, do plumbing work, do tiling work, do carpeting work, do custom metal designs, all sorts of little teeny tiny things that you don't think of. I have the contacts for that if you need something done. But that's where I can help. But I am definitely hands-on. I don't want to sit back and watch from the side.
Right. So they're some of these local businesses are Dena approved.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. And I feel confident in them. If they're in your home, they're going to do a good job because they're conscious too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. This is all really great stuff. I'm just curious to know in terms of budget, do you to bring in Dena as an interior designer, is there a fee up front? Is there a fee at the end?
So how the process works with me, and may not be true of others, but I have a consulting fee that's hourly. And that's how I work for everyone. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are, what you are. If you're the King of England, you have the same price as the person next door. I get my hourly fee, and people people choose to use me in different ways. If it's just a one-time consulting fee, that's perfectly fine with me. I'll come help you get started. We'll do that consulting. If you want to keep it ongoing in the process, again, it's still the hourly fee. If I'm doing new home construction and a huge remodel, a lot of people will, for lack of a better word, put me on retainer.
Yeah.
Like they pay me a lump sum and then I work off that when I get close to it, as opposed to paying me every single time they see me. But I let you choose how you want to have it happen. And most people, and what my clients like about me is I'm quick. I am very decisive. It does not take me long to make a decision. And once I make that decision, I do not change my mind.
Yeah, so talk about that, because you have to be pretty affirmative in your decision.
Right, because a lot of people I find, and it may not be true of everyone, but people are very hesitant and not confident at making a decision. I have to be confident. That is what I do. I have to have conviction of what I'm choosing, because if I keep changing my mind, they will never make a decision. And that's not the reason to hire me. I'm not slowing. I do not want to slow down your process. I want to speed up your process and make you feel comfortable and be able to sleep at night.
So what's the ending process look like? What's the ending of this story?
Well, again, individual needs, but if I work to you from what I call soup to nuts, from beginning to the end, I literally will come in, I will hang pictures on your walls, I will make the bed, I actually dust and clean the first time around, then you're on your own after that.
That's Just Dena.
That's right. But I will do that. I even for clients have unpacked them. I've moved clients from this area. I have one client that I have helped move 7 times around the country. We started out here in Bloomsburg. They moved to Michigan, then to Alabama, then to South Carolina, then to Massachusetts, and then to New Hampshire. And I have, a couple of times I've been to some of the homes, but most of the time we do it via Zoom or FaceTime. I have done picture hanging, told them furniture placement. I've done all different things, and I will even unpack the boxes and put things out. Like, I am a hands-on designer. I am not just there to point.
Right. And I think too, with the conversations that we have, you're not just an interior designer, you're actually a partner in their journey.
Oh yes. I become part of the family.
Yeah.
Really, I have over the years, a lot of my clients have become really good friends.
That's great.
We go out to dinner. I even gone away on trips together. I really enjoy them because I like being part of your family.
So in your own words, with somebody watching this video, in your own words, why is an interior designer so important? I love
completion.
Completion.
Completion of a project. You have the satisfaction of something getting done and finished, as opposed to going on and never getting finished. I help you get to the end.
Which is huge.
Huge.
Because I can't tell you how many projects I started and just stopped.
And I have, if I came into your home, you would have a Dena do list.
Okay.
And I check on you.
Yeah, good.
I don't just
You hold them accountable.
Yes, you're accountable. Did you do this? Did you do that? Did you order that? And they'll go, and it's funny how I'll give this list and they'll send me little messages now saying, I got this done off the list, when it's a do-it-yourselfer. But also, it's still your home and you want to be part of the overall planning, the overall making the things happen. I'm just here to help you along.
Yeah. You work with a lot of people in the area. You've done a lot of great work. How do you keep it all on schedule? I mean, that's a loaded question. But
it is a loaded question.
How? Because it's just me. It's just you.
I do have a helper that I bring in part-time to help me with some things. And there's other people, but for the most part, it's just me.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to answer it other than I have my own little file cabinet in my head. Before I go to bed at night, I have to put all my files away. And then once I've put all the files away for the day, I was blessed with a really good memory, and I can remember what people have in their houses more than they can remember with things. They'll say to me, oh, I don't have that. And I go, oh, yes, you did behind the door in the closet of this. And I just have that ability to remember things. And that I am truly blessed with.
Is it, do you have a waiting list? Let's put it that way. So if there's a new client interested in booking Just Dena, should they be concerned that
I'm
you're
usually
too busy?
no. First of all, I will usually get to see you within a 2-week period.
That's fantastic.
From calling me and contact me for the first time to making it come to fruition. And from the time we meet till the time we have that I give you an idea package, it's usually less than a week.
Wow.
I don't want to make you wait any longer than you have to, because most of the time you've waited to call me. Mm-hmm. And the process has already started.
Yeah, and they're excited to get started.
Yes, and they want to get started, or they've gotten started and they're stuck. And I want to be able to get you moving and get motivated and feel good about the process.
Yeah. You love this so much.
I do.
It's just so great to hear people love what they do.
I do.
And it reflects in your work.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I don't particularly have one favorite thing or one favorite home. I do have one of my favorite things to do is I love to fill bookshelves and china cabinets like that over there. Yes. I love to rearrange things like that. That's one of my, I'm in my glory doing that kind of stuff and putting the stuff out and, making the placement of things. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Next episode, we're going to talk about the misconceptions of an interior designer. Mm-hmm. Of what people think that they are and what is reality.
Correct.
So we're going to touch on little HGTV and what Just Dena does, and
correct,
and how they're different. So I again appreciate you taking the time and talking with us today. We got Just Dena in the studio, all about interior design, and we'll see you next time.